Would you wear all your favorite hats at the same time? Well, we wouldn't either. That is why we suggest you use only what you need. Switch off all electrical appliances and lights in unused rooms. Remember, use only what you need and save power today. Switch and save. Zesco, powering the nation.
Apple Max. Take it to the max.
Want to just get out of town with your friends and family? Are you having a corporate getaway and have no adequate transport? Then this here is what you need to listen to. A brand new 35-seater Yutong luxury bus is now up for hire at an affordable and negotiable rate. It comes fully equipped with aircon, TV for your relaxation, music soothing your trip, and DVD players to give you variety. Book now by calling 0955-0966 or 977-844-141.
What makes the new Yo-Yo Chipsy so unique? 100% natural ingredients. Nothing artificial. Just a pure experience of freshness. Potato chips. We know you'll love them.
Hey girl, what's your name? Let me talk to you for just a minute. Where you live and what you like to do?
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
Okay, I'm just trying to get with someone real cause you look so free. So let's chill, have a drink with a guy like me.
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
A quality product from Californian Beverages.
Pure jungle.
Sports, Zambia drops 10 places on the latest FIFA rankings. For these and many other stories, do join me after this short break. Back, we take a look at the headlines once again. New Information Minister Shimba Kambwili talks tough on media High Court judge nullifies arrest warrant issued against Mthembu Nshito. President Edgar Lungu announces his cabinet. And in international news, Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan denies role in pool day. In sports news, Zambia drops 10 places on the latest FIFA rankings. And now the news in detail. Newly appointed Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Chishimba Kambwili, has threatened to close media organizations promoting anarchy. Mr. Kambwili says he will do whatever it takes to close down online media, including the Zambian Watchdog, even if it takes involving the FBI. He says he will sort out certain media institutions and will not tolerate those media promoting hate speeches. Mr. Kambwili adds that it is not normal for a newspaper to be writing one person for 15 days, even if they don't have anything to write about them. Mr. Kambwili has, however, promised to table access to information bill. Speaking when he was appointed as minister, he threatened to withdraw licenses of media houses promoting tribalism and hate speech. Daniel Tonga brings us more in the following report.
Those who do not want to live within the norms of journalism will be closed down.
Tough, bold and aggressive words coming from a newly appointed Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Chishimba Kambwili, coming on a platform to close some media institutions deemed to be promoting anarchy. The relationship between Kambwili and the media will now be that of a cat and mouse. Mr. Kambwili's tough words come barely few hours just after being appointed and sworn in as Minister of Information. And according to President Edgar Lungu, Mr. Kambwili likes to talk, hence his appointment as Minister of Information. The media has enjoyed a bit of freedom, and with many challenges, Mr. Kambwili feels many issues will be dealt with under his reign.
Carry headlines for people for maybe 3 weeks, just condemning somebody, even if you don't have anything to write about. Surely, can you be writing about one person for 15 days, headlines every day? So those are the kind of things that we need to deal with and regulate properly. As for the information of Freedom of Information Bill, I'll make sure that is brought to fruition.
Based on Mr. Kambwili's words, which media will be fixed? With him in office, is there any glimmer of hope for media survival? The battle for the soul and life of free media, which seemed afar, has now just begun. Reporting for Prime TV News, Daniel Tonga, Lusaka.
The Lusaka High Court has nullified the arrest warrant issued by the Chongwe Magistrate Court to arrest Mthembu Nshito. Chongwe Magistrate Court had issued an arrest warrant for the DPP on allegations of fraud and falsification of documents. Earlier, Mr. Nshito was arrested by police and detained in cells at Chongwe Police. He was picked up from his Kablonga residence and taken to Chongwe for questioning amid tight security. Mr. Nshito is facing 2 counts of abuse of authority and 2 counts of contempt of court. He is also facing other counts relating to procuring execution of documents by false pretenses and uttering a false document. Mr. Nshito is accused of having fraudulently contracted debt and forswearing conspiracy to defeat justice. President Edgar Lungu has announced a full cabinet. Among those in President Lungu's cabinet include Ngosa Simbiakula for Justice, Alexander Chikwanda, Finance, Home Affairs Davis Mwila, Foreign Affairs Harry Kalaba, and Dr. Joseph Kasonde for Health, while Agriculture goes to Given Luminda. Others include Vincent Mwale, who takes up the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Tourism and Arts has been given to Jean Kapata. Commerce has gone to Margaret Mwanakatwe. Christopher Yaluma is maintained at the Ministry of Mines and Energy. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting Services has been given to Chishimba Kambwili, Lands and Natural Resources, Christabel Ngumbu, Local Government, John Piri, while Ministry of Labour has been returned to Faxon Shamenda. The rest are Emerin Kabanshi for Community Development. Chiefs and Traditional Affairs has been given to Dr. Joseph Katema. Yamfam Kanga has maintained Transport and Communication, while Gender has gone to Nkanduluo, and MMD's Michael Kaingu has been appointed as Education Minister. Meanwhile, President Edgar Lungu has announced that he will continue as Defense Minister until further notice. The President has not given any further information with regard to why he has decided to continue as Defense Minister. And on the appointment of Nkanduluo, who was not in attendance at State House for the swearing-in ceremony, Mr. Lungu said Professor Luo had the right to take up the appointment or not. Daniel Tonga brings us more in the following report.
President Edgar Chagwa Lungu has now announced his new full cabinet, ending long period of expectations and panic. His full cabinet is blended with some opposition members and women, making it an inclusive and gender-sensitive one. During his address at State House, President Edgar Lungu said it demands excellency and loyalty from all his cabinet colleagues. He did not hesitate, but warned that he will discipline those that will underperform.
And I've informed all the appointees to my government that I expect the highest levels of integrity, performance, discipline, and unit of purpose. I want to run a disciplined government, and those not willing to play by the rules of collective responsibility must say so now and leave us. No more channels of communication within and without have to be adhered to strictly. Otherwise, the entire administration of government will be chaotic. I will allow my ministers sufficient leeway to discharge their functions, and my support is guaranteed in pushing the agenda for development aimed at poverty reduction for the majority of our people.
The function was full of applause, indicating a sigh of relief to those so lucky to have been appointed or reappointed.
I, Chishimba Kambwili.
President Edgar Lungu disclosed that he will still hold on to the post of Defense Minister until further notice.
The office of the President, I cannot delegate until I'm away, remains with me. I'm also going to remain as Minister of Defense until further notice.
These appointments have ended panic that had gripped many on whether they would be appointed or bounce back to positions of authority. The much anticipated full cabinet has been announced here at State House by the Republican President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And one more interesting thing is that he brought in other people from the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy who have been appointed to take other ministries. And he did mention that he will be leaving for Angola tomorrow, and when he's back, he's going to continue with his job of appointing other people. He is yet to appoint district commissioners. He is yet to appoint permanent secretaries and other deputy ministers. Reporting for Prime TV News, Daniel Tonga at State House, Lusaka.
Thank you, Daniel, for that report. Rainbow Chawama constituency officials have anonymously agreed not to take part in the pending parliamentary by-election. Delivering the decision on behalf of other members this week, Chawama constituency Rainbow chairman Evaristo Lesa says this is to save the party from wasting time and resources. Mr. Lesa says what the party needs now is to invest in party mobilization and not taking part in an election which will just distract the party's focus. He says the party will only take part in future elections when it is fully ready to do so. He says the official's decision will be presented to the top leadership for consideration. Last week, Rainbow Lusaka Province Chairman Goodson Banda challenged the party's leadership in the area to make recommendations on whether the party should take part in the Chawama by-election slated for April 14th, 2015 or not.
Are we ready for by-election week? Our answer is no, sir. Yes. Can we concentrate with recruit people? Yes. So that when 16, Murenbo party, people are there. Incredible people, our mano, our Sambilio Movali. Murenbo party. Our Indian Chairman Kuina, number 24, first, tomorrow, initially, in Chile.
The United Party for National Development, UPND, has alleged that some suspected PF cadres are harassing traders at the city market in Lusaka. UPND chairperson for rural construction, Mono Mapani, says the state at which traders are trading in at the city market is not conducive as cadres have taken full control of the area. He says there is need for Home Affairs Minister to see to it that there is law and order at the market. Mr. Mono has further stated that there is need for the minister to visit the area and refrain cadres from causing or beating people in the market. He says the police should not sit back and watch people being harassed by cadres, but ensure police officers are deployed at the market to calm the situation.
But the people of Zambia have waited enough to see this violence come to an end. The elections are over. What we're telling him now is, let him sort out the violence that is happening at the city market. The people are being hacked are Zambians. The people are being beaten, tormented day and night. Those are Zambians. And this is a group of people who have pushed themselves into government without realizing the interest of the government. The people of Zambia are tired. We want to remind Honorable Mwila to look at the Article 104 of the Constitution, which actually gives him powers to instruct the police to go and sort out the mess that is at city market.
Before we take a break, here are the headlines once again. New Information Minister Chishimba Kambwili talks tough on media. High Court judge nullifies arrest warrant issued against Mtembo Nshto. President Edgar Lungu announces his cabinet. We take a break.
Would you wear all your favorite hats at the same time? Well, we wouldn't either. That is why we suggest you use only what you need. Switch off all electrical appliances and lights in unused rooms. Remember, use only what you need and save power today. Switch and save. Zesco, powering the nation.
What's your name? Let me talk to you for just a minute. Where you live and what you like to do?
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
Okay, I'm just trying to get with someone real cause you look so free. So let's chill. Have a drink with a guy like me.
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
A quality product from Californian Beverages.
Potato sticks, freaky fries. Get that awesome crunch.
We continue with the news. Health practitioners have raised concerns that some HIV/AIDS patients are being discouraged by some clergymen from taking antiretroviral therapy (ART) drugs once they have been prayed for, leading to death. They say patients who opt to abandon medication and seek healing through prayers disturb the process of suppressing the illness and risk having a multiplicity of the virus in the body. And Presence of God Ministries overseer, Apostle Christopher Kunda, says there is nothing wrong for pastors praying for HIV/AIDS patients. Apostle Kunda has advised fellow clergymen to send their followers back to the health centers to be tested for HIV/AIDS before declaring them negative. He adds that pastors' faith in God is not always at the same level as that of their followers.
You cannot just stop a person about to stop medication. Also, we look at also the faith of a person. A person cannot come just to me today to say, Apostle, I am HIV positive. Then I pray for that person, then I declare it, like I declare it to say, stop taking the ARVs. We look at also the faith of a person. It's like when you cast out devils for somebody who is possessed with demons. If that person is not rooted in the Word of God, you find that demons comes back again. That's why you find that the same people manifest the demons. It's the same way with sickness. You can pray for somebody in the ministry where, like in the ministry in the church, you find that that person will say, I am healed, I am healed.
ZESCO Limited says it remains committed to its corporate social responsibility in communities it is operating from. ZESCO Managing Director Cyprian Chitundu said this when he handed over 2 electric pots which were acquired in conjunction with ZTE, a Chinese technology company donated to Kasisi Girls Secondary School. He says his company is committed to good corporate citizenship to help uplift the lives of people. He says ZESCO will continue investing in young minds and ensure a better future for them. Mr. Chitundu said ZESCO realizes the importance of education, adding that a girl child also needs to attend education for a better future.
The members of the press, and can I just say, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be back here with the assurance that we at ZESCO made last time we were here, that ZESCO Limited is fully committed to supporting the education sector. And therefore, we have taken very keen interest in completing some of the works that you have started and the aspiration of developing the school. When my team and I were taken on a conducted tour, as has been said, of the school at the time that you had a fundraising dinner or lunch, it was very clear that the school needed a hand of support. We noted that the wiring in the kitchen, for example, was not properly done and needed some attention. And we're very, very keen on the safety, because anything that is not safely wired is a problem, and people, get electrocuted. So that was my basic concern.
Meanwhile, ZTE Managing Director Bill Yi says his company is associated with the improvement of girl-child education in the country. Mr. Yi says women can also play a vital role in the development of the country, hence the need to educate them. He says his company regards social responsibility as very important. And Kasisi Secondary School head teacher Sister Priscilla Perry said the school is facing a number of challenges. Sister Perry says the school, which has 300 pupils, uses 1 pot to prepare food. She has further thanked ZESCO and ZTE for the gesture and said this will go a long way in addressing the challenges in the kitchen at the school.
First, I want to thank everybody, thank the school and ZESCO to give me this chance to show our honest and do some social responsibility for the school, for Zambia. Our company is also very put the transfer, the skill and technology transfer, overseas to our local employee. Very important position. So annually we will send our local employee to China and to South Africa for training. And we bring experts to Zambia to give them training to improve the skills and technology. Because in ICT section is a high-end, high-technology section industry.
ZESCO as a company, as well as ZTE, has shown how seriously they take their social corporate responsibility that is plowing back to the community. Kasisi Girls Secondary School was started as far back as 1925 and started as a primary school. In 1989, it was upgraded to a secondary school, minus the infrastructure being upgraded. The school has grown and has more than 300 pupils now. However, most of the buildings are dilapidated and are a threat to the learners as well as the teachers, and as most of them are on the verge of collapsing.
We now take our second break, but still to come is international and sports news. Do stay tuned.
Apple Max. Take it to the max.
What makes the new Yo-Yo Chipsy so unique? 100% natural ingredients. Nothing artificial. Just a pure experience of freshness. Chipsy potato chips. We know you'll love them.
Welcome back, and now for the rest of the news. A court in Egypt has ordered the release of bail of 2 Al Jazeera journalists being retried for allegedly aiding the banned Muslim Brotherhood. Mohammed Fahmy and Baha Muhammad were imprisoned in June along with their Australian colleague Peter Gresti, but their convictions for spreading false news to help a terrorist group were overturned on appeal last month. Mr. Gresti was freed last week under a law allowing the deportation of foreign nationals to their home countries. Mr. Fahmy has given up his Egyptian citizenship to qualify for deportation to Canada, but Mr. Muhammad has no foreign passport. The journalist strenuously denied collaborating with the banned Muslim Brotherhood after the overthrow of President Mohamed Morsi by the military in 2013. Nigeria's President Goodluck Jonathan has denied he was consulted over the postponement of Saturday's presidential and parliamentary by-elections. Election officials took the decision on the advice of security officers concerned about the Islamist-led insurgency in the northeast, he said. The 6-week delay was not a big deal, he said on national television. The opposition claims Mr. Jonathan pushed for the polls to be delayed because he feared defeat. The elections have been rescheduled for 28 March 2015. Analysts say the election is the most closely contested since military rule ended in 1999. Well, for more international news, we round up from Al Jazeera.
The President says his request for congressional approval for new war powers against ISIL will not result in a ground operation.
I would be prepared to order our special forces to take action because I will not allow these terrorists to have a safe haven.
The leaders of France, Germany, Ukraine and Russia have held all-night talks in the capital of Belarus on the crisis in eastern Ukraine. They're trying to reach a peace deal after a ceasefire signed last September collapsed. 3 young Muslims have been killed in the U.S. state of North Carolina, and there's a dispute over the motive. Police say an argument over parking might have led to the killings, but family members of the victims think it was a hate crime.
We appreciate your concerns and the outpouring of love and support from our neighbors, student community, and the community at large. We ask that the authorities investigate these senseless and heinous murders as a hate crime. We also ask that you respect our privacy during this difficult time.
In Yemen, Houthi rebels have reportedly seized U.S. embassy vehicles in the capital, Sana'a, a day after the embassy there was closed. The UK and France have also said that they're closing their missions. Last week, the Houthi rebel group took control of the government in a coup. We Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan says he was, quote, not consulted on the decision to postpone the country's national elections. Speaking in an interview, President Jonathan insisted the Electoral Commission made an independent decision. The vote was scheduled for February the 14th and has been delayed by 6 weeks. In a few hours' time, 2 Al Jazeera journalists will face a Cairo court as their retrial begins. Mohammed Fahmy and Baha Mohammed have now spent 411 days behind bars. They're accused of supporting the outlawed Muslim Brotherhood, charges which they and Al Jazeera refute. Peter Grester was deported 10 days ago under a presidential decree.
And now in sports news, Zambia has dropped 10 places on the latest FIFA rankings for the month of February released. Honajanza's side has dropped from 50th to 60th in the world. Zambia has also slipped from 11th in Africa in January to number 17 this month. The team's drop comes after its poor showing the 2015 Africa Cup in Equatorial Guinea. Zambia made a group stage exit at the competition when they finished bottom of Group B on 2 points. Well, that's all we had for you on our main news desk, but before we leave, we take a look at the headlines once again. New Information Minister Chimbaka Mbwili talks tough on media. High Court judge nullifies arrest warrant issued against Mthembu Nshito. President Edgar Lungu announces his full cabinet. In international news, Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan denies role in pool day. And in sports, Zambia drops 10 places on the latest FIFA rankings. Well, thank you so much for staying with us. This has been Gwen Wheeler, and God bless.
Hey girl, what's your name? Let me talk to you for just a minute. Where you live and what you like to do?
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
Okay, I'm just trying to get with someone real cause you look so free. So let's chill, have a drink with a guy like me.
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
A quality product from Californian Beverages.
Potato sticks, freaky fries. Get that awesome crunch.
Would you wear all your favorite hats at the same time? Well, we wouldn't either. That is why we suggest you use only what you need. Switch off all electrical appliances and lights in unused rooms. Remember, use only what you need and save power today. Switch and save. ZESCO, powering the nation.